Does this feel any different coming off a season in which you had?
It really doesn't. I don't feel any different. Physically, I do. I'm older. I don't move as, not that I ever move good, but I don't get around as well as I used to. But no, it feels the same. We've talked about last year a lot, and I've said that after late night we're going to turn that page, and we need to turn the page. It's tired of. I mean, we should be tired about talking about it. We'll talk about it when I retire. With my family and friends and grandkids. But right now we need to focus on what's happening next, and what's happening next is the league's a monster, and we better be prepared to compete, because we will have a target on our back for a lot of reasons, especially non-conference.
Do you like your team so far? I mean, are those
Yeah, I do. I do. I like the guys. I like the guys, but liking them doesn't translate to wins. I think they care about the right things. I think they're unselfish. I think they like each other. But how tough we are in crucial situations. We can talk about all we want to, but our league is so good. How many games are going to come down that's decided in the last 2 or 3 minutes? And our guys tough enough to compete in those 2 or 3 minutes. And I know that 3 that are, but we got a lot of unknowns too. So and hopefully they'll get to the point where they're ready.
We were just talking to Jalen about the luxury of having 2 defenders like Juan and McCullough on your team.
Yeah.
And I wonder, what does that do for the ceiling of your team defensively?
Well, we've actually been better defensively. Even though Devon Dotson was an unbelievable on-the-ball defender, not great off. Marcus Garrett's the best defender in the country, and then Doak was the best big man defender in the country. So that's a whole different level. So when I look at having Juan and McCullough, that's great, but they better be good, because we got some other guys that are young and going to make a lot of mistakes and that kind of stuff. And then defensively, we don't have a post presence the same way. But I would be really concerned if we didn't have those 2. So even though we're not close to being what we should be, but those 2 give us a chance in the end to be pretty damn good defensively, I think.
Where does Jalen fit?
Defensively?
Yeah.
He'll be the first to tell you that he fits. I would tell you he's closer to fitting, because last year I didn't think he was a good defender at all. And then at the end of the season, he was terrific.
Yeah.
And that's what he's got to be. He's got to keep building off of that. Jalen Wilson potentially is a terrific defender, because he's a great rebounder and all those things. But he's going to have to. Jalen's going to have to play to an All-American type level for us to have a chance to have a team in the mix. And I think he's capable of doing that. But that's got to be on both ends too.
Hey, Bill, it's probably hard to get your arms around, but how different does it feel to have a second title in terms of what it says about your program? And I got a little follow-up on that after that.
Well, it does feel different to me. We talk about this all the time. It's much easier to have a great team than it is a great program. Because it's just a snip at a time, and things could just fall right for 1 year. And you want to do it where there's a foundation of consistency that you can, be in the game. And I think that we've done that. But still, though, in order to validate the first one, you got to get a second one. And then maybe to validate the second one, you got to get a third one. I don't know, but I think it says more for our program. I think people have looked at us, and you guys know far better than me, because when you're in the bubble, you don't pick up stuff as much. I think people have looked at us for whatever reasons of being a great regular season team and not as much success in the postseason. Well, if you go back and look, we've won as many postseason games as anybody else has won, for the most part, but haven't won titles. You equate success. You don't remember first round losses if you win titles. And I'm sorry. And so we needed to do that to validate the success that we've had throughout the course of many seasons. And it felt different to me to do that, because maybe I don't think I felt the pressure, but I certainly felt relief of not feeling the pressure, because I'd never admit to feeling pressure, but it certainly felt like a burden was lifted after we won another one.
And the other part of it, Bill, is I just wondered if it's a little bit of time between the titles, and
yeah.
how much different, not necessarily is the game today, but how much different is it to orchestrate what comes next after this one than it was in 2008? I mean, just how you run your program with everything.
Well, I think in 08, we've been a blue blood a long time, and so as UCLA and Carolina, Duke, Kentucky, and others, you can make Indiana, whoever else, Michigan State, you could make a case for that, and you could always recruit to being that. Now that you can still recruit to that, but NIL's changed the game so much that doesn't carry the same value as what the NIL opportunities do too. So it's different. It's different. There's a lot of potential blue bloods out there right now based on how NIL goes. Kids will line up to want to go to certain schools based on how NIL goes. And even though Naismith being your first coach and all the history and tradition and banners and all that stuff, those are important, but you got to be in the game in that area if you want to have a chance to compete.
How much are you?
What's that?
The challenge is a little different.
It's a lot different. And then to win it, how do you have the same chemistry in the locker room when a NIL wasn't around? And that's going to be, if somebody wants to give Gary, a certain amount and somebody quadruples that to Matt, is Gary going to be happy for Matt? And the answer is, many ways, maybe not. And that's how division in the locker room can occur too. So it's going to take a different type of talent, but it's going to take a different type of mature group to have the same chemistry that we had last year.
How do you feel about where that is for you guys in your program and KU overall?
I actually feel better than I did. I didn't feel good about it at all 4 months ago, at all. But I'm starting to see things that are good, and I'm also starting to see some positive things that can come with it, with your players. The majority of my guys are like all other players. They didn't come from the means to give away money, and my guys have given away $27,000 to different charities since they've had a little bit of money and money that they actually could use in discretionary ways that they've never been able to do it before. So I think there's some good things. I heard a great story by Nick Collison with NIL, and the people that knock NIL maybe should hear this story. Is that 2-parent house, both school teachers, one's dad's coach, didn't fly when they went to watch Kansas play. They drove everywhere. You guys may be aware of that. And Nick made a lot of money on barnstorming after his career was done, and so he just gave that money to his parents to put in a safety deposit box, and if you need it, get into it. And next thing you know, his parents said, well, it comes at a great time because we never want to tell you, but we are spent this amount of money traveling to watch you play. I mean, an exorbitant amount of money. You thought make 4 years, all the road trips just to see your kid play, and that's expensive for a family. And so, that was a story that I don't think people take in consideration. So this is a good thing, in theory. There's just some consequences that are unintended about it, So.
Some of the guys said that you're coaching them a lot tougher this year than you were last. Is that because you feel like this team needs to be coached differently than last year, or because you guys are the team to beat, or what is it, or what are you doing differently this year?
Well, if you talk to ex-players, they'll say I'm the softest I've ever been on all of them. I think last year going into it, you had kind of security blankets with guys that have played in your program, and now I'm nervous because we don't have those same security blankets, and you got 2 guys that have ever contributed for you in a meaningful way or a big way. Now that you still have to go beat Duke right out of the chute and go to Atlanta right out of the chute with guys that have never been proven or played in minutes where it's a tie game, 3 minutes left, or you're down 2 with a minute left. If you don't get stopped, you get beat. So I think I probably am a little bit more into it this year than what I was last year, probably.
You said that older guys have to play good in order for the younger guys to play really good. How do you quantify that, and how will you know if you guys are accomplished?
Well, I just think the longer you play the game, the slower the game becomes. And our guys, those 3 have enough experience that they can make the game easier for others. because the other ones are going to be sped up. The game for the other ones is going to be in fast forward till Christmas, and the other ones need to slow it down and make sure they understand what really wins. And one thing that I've been proud of our guys with over time is that I think they figure out what really wins, and it's soundness, executing a 2-for-1 late game, being able to get 70% of the 50-50 balls. I mean, I think that they actually kind of get that, and I'm not sure the young kids do it all yet. So they just got to enforce that the young guys understand, well, you may have made this, and this, but he's going to be upset with you because what you did just gave us a chance to lose a game, and you don't even realize it. Dribbling a fumble. We'll lose a game because the guy dribbles and fumbles till you grab it with two hands, and so we have to understand that, and they'll get it, but we're still a ways off.
You said on the stage that Jalen and Juan, I think you said both, have the chance to be as good leaders as
I think we do.
What is it about what you've seen or what you think they have that makes you say it that strongly?
Well, I think Jalen's personality is demanding enough and strong enough that he can do it with his personality, and I think Juan with his IQ. DeJuan Harris, guys, is one of the smartest, best basketball players I've been around, and nobody will know it because the stats don't say that. But you'll see a different DeJuan this year because we're going to put the ball in his hands to make the plays, to finish plays, or the passes to finish plays, as opposed to being equal opportunity. So I think you guys will probably see more his value this year than what you have.